Hey guys, welcome to the Wind Down. I am one of your hosts, Minnie May, and I am drinking. I don't know. I threw Bailey's in milk, and it actually tastes really good. I was thirsty for alcohol.
Correct, guys. I'm Luna Sangreen. I have an Italian wine which I'm drinking today. I cannot pronounce it to save my life, but I'll try. It's a Pinot Grigio della Venezia.
That sounded so sexy. Say that slower.
Nice.
Piano Grigio della Venezia.
Me likey.
It's very nice, and I have an extra large glass today to drink it out of.
Big Joe.
Hey guys, I'm Lady Battery. I'm not actually drinking anything alcoholic tonight, so I got some grape tazo. Just chill out, but at least I got something. It's close enough. It's close.
It's enough.
It's great
it
tazo,
could have
it
been
counts.
tainted, but it's good enough. It's good enough. So today we are presented with a special guest. I've known him for almost 2 years. He is one of the longest South African Twitch streamers, and he's very beardly, influential, and has a very contagious laugh. We've got ZaffaGeek.
Hi, Zaffa.
Hi. I'm drinking rum.
That's why the rum
Nice.
is always gone, guys.
Yeah.
So, Zaffa, you're here to join us today to talk about. Well, we have two topics, but our main topic we brought you in for today is about DM and, tabletop RPGs and all that awesome stuff. So, we're going to start with Luna's question.
Hi. Right, so let
Long
me
time
get
no
to
see.
I know it's been a while. So Zaffa, what inspiration do you have which helps you run the games? Where do you get your inspiration from?
Okay, now this is something you guys don't know. I get my inspiration from the players mainly. That's why I usually try and focus more on their background stories and all of that. And usually, like, what I would do is I would throw out hints, and whichever one that the player grabs, I'll be like, okay, cool, they're going this way. Now I can develop a story around that. In your own personal experience, I have actually possibly between the two of you thrown out 4 or 5 different hooks. And you've only grabbed onto one each, and I'm like, okay then.
It's the roles. It's not about if you guys don't know. So Luna and I are co-players in one of Zaffa's games for Vampire the Masquerade, City of Thorns. I am Olivia Targram, and Luna is my bestie from the Undead, Theodora. And we are complete opposites, but we love each other. We just don't admit it.
Yeah. Think what's that show about the
there's
two broke girls?
Yeah, we're like two broke girls,
Think
except
two
she's
broke
the
girls,
rich
but
one
with
and I'm the broke
vampires.
one.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah. And also, what is your favorite part about being a DM?
It's usually okay. This is sort of like a guilty, not a guilty pleasure, but I run multiple vampire things, like one on Twitch and at least another one in real life. And one of my favorite parts of being a DM is getting an emotional reaction out of someone, whether it being they're crying or whether it being like, we're crying, we've got the fake crier over there, wherever you're at. And the one time something happened where the entire party, without realizing it, started talking over someone else in the party. They completely ignored her. Emotional, whatever emotions I can get out of you, whether it be sad, anger, ignorance, hoity-toityness. That's brilliant. That's my favorite part / guilty pleasure. Yeah.
So how long have you been a DM for?
You were my first.
Can kinky.
We popped his DM cherry. Oh
Ooh!
my!
And we didn't have to get him
You
drunk
were-
first.
I know.
I'm easy like that. No, you were my first. It was shortly after that first episode that I started running the Bloemfontein, the real life campaign Bloom. I think it was literally like the next day where I set everything up. I'm like,
He was
okay,
over
cool.
us after a day, Luna. Do you hear this?
Hashtag not all men. No.
And since you started it, is it the first in Bloom that you're doing it, or do you know of how big it is, or
Are you talking about the vampire community?
Well,
the
just
D&D scene?
yeah, D&D,
Oh no,
PTM.
role playing in general, it's quite big in Bloom. It's quite big in Bloom. I'm probably, and don't crucify me for this because I might just be completely wrong about it, but a show like City of Thorns is the first in South Africa that I've done. Was done. There were a lot of firsts that I was responsible for, but City of Thorns was the latest one. And but in Bloemfontein itself, my hometown, no, there's like a thriving role-playing community. Not a lot of them play vampire. It's difficult to get people willing to play vampire.
Why is that? Because like when I think of Vampire Masquerade, like I know I only recently learned about now. It's just because where I grew up, it was all about computer games and not really about role playing and stuff. I grew up in a small town. It was a sin. I don't know, but why? Because Vampire the Masquerade, it just seems like such an alluring. Like I fell in love. That was when I was like, I want to get into role playing. This is amazing. It's like the story is just so in depth. There's just so much to each like family, each character. You have those traits that are given to you, but you can evolve it the way you want to based on your touch. Like it's just amazing.
The big thing about the big difference between Vampire and Dungeons and Dragons is, yes, I can also play it. You can play it in two different ways: either story driven, which I love, or combat focused. Now, the big thing is with Dungeons and Dragons, it has a combination of both. And it depends on the game master and the players whether or not they want to go story driven or combat focused. Combat is amazing to give a bit of a break between role playing sections. But then again, a lot of people are, I think, intimidated by just sitting around a table and talking for 4 hours straight about something that's not real. And go away with like, wow, we've achieved something. Whereas in D&D, after about 4 hours and there hasn't been one combat session, people get antsy. Yeah.
So it's more about
I'm
what
not
action's
saying-
happening.
Yeah, I'm not saying D&D is for idiots or anything. I'm just saying I love the story aspect of things. If I were to run a D&D campaign, I'd probably just like have no dice rolls for at least 7 sessions. Just have role playing going on, But the combat is there as an extra added threat. Whereas in Vampire, it's more a psychological type of combat or psychological type of threat. That's what it's all boiled down to. Like, I mean, take you guys, for example. You guys were kind of freaked out about the crap that happened in the library.
Yeah.
And it was just purely psychological. Sorry to burst your bubble, but it was just purely psychological.
Lies. So
Yes.
with Vampire the
easier-
Masquerade. Oh, can you?
Sorry, it's easier to get into D&D than Vampire the Masquerade.
Because there's
Yeah.
more detail to it too. I was about to say, because like I remember when I got into Vampire Masquerade, I had to learn so much. It was not like you just learn about your class and you learn about the rest of it. Like you have to learn about different families because every family, well, it's not called family. What are they called?
Clans.
Every
Yeah.
clan actually has some integral part in another clan, and how they connect and stuff. And I'm glad I did because also I could work out what a lot of people were just based on what they said and stuff. But yeah, I feel like there's more research and there's also with Vampire Masquerade. Like I've seen D&D games and I've seen these role playing games, especially on Geek and Sundry. They play off of players way more on Vampire Masquerade than they do in D&D.
Exactly, yeah. And that is where the story, like I've had stories planned out for all the characters. You kind of screwed it up, but I'm happy because now it's a different aspect to that character, and now the original stories that I've planned can happen in the next season or the next arc of the storyline.
Yeah.
It's still there, and that is basically how I play off of you. That's why I love Vampire the Masquerade, because I'm sitting there, I've got a rough backline, you screw me around, and I have to play with you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Interesting. So you said we were your first. Still honored by that. But what made you go like, I want to create my own game, I want to DM, I want to put that time, because you can't just set it up one day and be like, hey, let's do this. Like the amount of time and effort, because you have to take everyone's stories, try to connect everyone, because I know my story is probably way off from Luna Theodoro's and Kopakai's and second class. Like the imagination it takes to be able to do that, and like what made you go, I'm gonna sacrifice half my life to do a game?
It's quite easy. Ever since I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons from 2004, 5, roughly there. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since then. And at some point during all those D&D sessions, one of my friends told me about this whole vampire thing. I'm like, I'm there. So my love started there. And sacrificing or bringing everybody together, it was a bit of a task.
Still
it was a bit of a
is.
task. But what persuaded me, actually, and get those clips ready, what persuaded me actually was LA by Night, Sounds of Silence, Layla the Vampire Slayer.
I
All
haven't heard of that one.
No.
Layla the Vampire Slayer is based off of the Buffy rulebook.
I gathered that
the
much.
Buffyverse. Yeah, the Buffyverse. And I was like, I was literally sitting there. It was Sounds of Silence. Sounds of Silence is the last one I watched. That's why it's fresh in my memory. And I'm like, if they can do it, what's stopping me? I mean, I can possibly ring a couple of stories together, but what's stopping me to do this? And they basically inspired me. I was on a vampire binge about a month before I actually decided, okay, now I'm going to try and get people together. So basically, those shows pushed me over the edge, and I'm like, cool, I can try this.
Dang. So what is your so with the Vampire Masquerade, like what you're doing with it, like do you have any, like what is your dream for what it will turn into? Like do you have hopes for it, or is it just, how do I put it? Do you know what I mean? Like do you hope to take it somewhere further than what it is right now? Like how like LA by Night, they do like epilogues, they have they have like side books about LA by Night by character. Like is that what you're hoping to do with your game?
Once we get funded, yes. But my big dream is just to eventually, my next goal is to bring the IRL people that you've interacted with already, bring them, the people that I run the Vampire the Masquerade for in Bloom, bring them into the stream.
Oh, so like Zakar and them?
Yeah, so that Zakar can pitch up as his character and
That would
just
be really
interact
cool.
with you. And Seska could come in and pitch up as her character.
Well, she doesn't
that
take
would
Wilbur.
that would be. I still need to tell her that Wilbur's house was destroyed. But anyway,
Details. Details.
But yeah, that is my main plan, is to try and bring them in as guests. I mean, I do have a second camera, so we can pull it off. Just have them in as guests and let them play out their role, and then just for one session, then go, and maybe bring them back at a later stage or whatever.
That'd be cool.
That is the big plan. Bigger than that, I don't know if there's graphics artists out there that wants to do shorts about our sessions. I would love it. Also on YouTube. A bit of shilling there. It's also on YouTube. So yeah.
more exposure.
Yeah.
And future ideas for D&D campaigns?
D&D campaigns, if I feel confident enough that I can run a D&D campaign, I'll probably start one along with the vampire thing. Probably. But right now I'm like, if I were to do a different campaign, I'd probably do something in the World of Darkness universe. I'll probably do Mage the Awakening, where you're all a bunch of spellcasters, or Werewolf, where you're a bunch of werewolves.
Like it.
And maybe I can bring in some of the story that happened in City of Thorns into the werewolf bit, and then or the mage bit or whatever. So that is basically where I'm at the moment. I wish I can do D&D, but I've had one of the best dungeon masters I could have ever asked for, and it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of not threatening.
Intimidating?
Intimidating. It's kind of intimidating trying to do a D&D campaign knowing that he will watch them.
I see what you mean.
It's that sort of thing. I mean, let's say, for example, to put it into the vampires perspective, vampires and Vino. If he will pitch up on my stream, I will die and just stop the stream. Like, sorry, I'm done.
I think we all will.
Yeah. Don't look at this shitty stream.
We're not worth it. Don't hurt your eyes.
We are not worthy.
Also, another thing that another reason why I wanted South Africa in the VTM session is that the original lore books was written back in the 90s for Africa and South Africa, and it was very racist. The vampires in Africa were darker of skin. That was it. Everywhere in Africa, if you go to, I want to change that perspective. They even had tribal names for their clan, and I'm like, yeah, let's try and change the perspective just ever so slightly. And that is what, like, getting true South African. Now, when I say true South Africans, please don't crucify me and say, oh, he just wants white South Africans. No. I just want people from South Africa to play in them. I mean, if anyone is willing to join us or be in a guest slot, Lady Bathory.
Yes, lady.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you must join us.
Can we create her character right here?
Oh yes, we can. Let's do it right now.
Okay, after these topics,
Yes,
lady.
you should.
After these topics,
Oh
we're gonna
my
create your
goodness.
character. Keep talking, and then we're gonna come back to lady's character.
Yeah. I'm just saying, maybe,
Oh my goodness.
Seriously,
that's it.
lady. So, if someone came to you and said, "Hey, I want to start being a DM. I want to tell my own story," what would you tell them? How to go about it? What would your tips and suggestions be for it?
My tips and suggestions. I'm not drunk enough yet for this. My tips and suggestions would basically be, do you have a story to tell? If they say yes, then I'm like, okay, cool. That is the best part. That's where you should start. And then I would redirect them to a South African expat currently living in, I want to say, China or Japan, on YouTube, called How to Be a Great GM. He's from KwaZulu Natal originally, and he's basically making his living by teaching people how to play Dungeons and Dragons or how to be a good game master. His experience is mainly in Dungeons and Dragons, but he covers everything. He covers everything, and he used to be a script writer in South Africa and crap like that, so he knows stories. So basically, I'd tell, if you have a story, cool, you're already a step ahead. Number 2, go watch that guy.
Yeah.
How to be a great GM.
Is that what you did? Was there anything else you did though, or did you just watch him?
I basically like halfway through about episode 3 or 4 of our sessions, I started watching him. And it's also around about episode 3 or 4 where things got really interesting for everybody. because I had a different way of doing things than when I did in the first 2 or 3 episodes. But basically, watch what inspires you and grab inspiration from that. There's certain things that I've planned out that no one's noticed.
Well, we're
that I
sorry.
actually stole, or sort of like borrowed, not stole, borrowed from LA by Night.
Now I'm
Yeah.
like thinking, like, what?
And the funny thing is, the one person that wouldn't recognize it is actually the one person that got it.
Really?
Can you tell us
Yeah.
since it's past?
It's basically the healing salve that they used on Jasper when his hands were burned.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's basically that I gave someone in. So I believe it was Cobra Kai. I
Oh.
gave. He had the opportunity to take it and he didn't.
Oh, you didn't. I won't lie.
Oh.
Most of the time, guys, this is my. I feel so bad, but I zone out a shit ton. So when it's not about me, I'm like. So it probably
that's
went
okay.
right over my head.
That's okay.
It happens.
It happens.
It happens to me as well.
Too. That was like a test in focus for me. The first episode's like, what's everybody saying? I need to focus.
God, that must be the hardest thing.
Write something. No, focus. Write something. No, focus. Write something.
I could never. This is why I couldn't be a DM, because like I would have to
Mhm.
keep up with everything everyone else is doing,
Mhm.
and I'm like I can barely keep up with myself.
The biggest challenge that I had was having separate, like, it was in the beginning, it was everybody's stories running together the whole time. Everybody was together. And then you bastards decided to split up. And I had to keep track of what everybody is doing, where they were, and that was a real test in endurance. That was like,
Olivia,
okay, so you're doing this, you're doing this.
All my fault.
Olivia does like to run off by herself.
Hey, you ran off too to go to your place, okay, Missy?
I have to do my makeup and have a shower.
And
Okay.
have Bob on your face.
Put
Yes.
pop all over your face. Oh, guys, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, go check us out. We don't have a day yet. Check us out
Yeah,
when
we
we
need to work
have
on
a
that.
day of our stream again for Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah.
I'm just going to assume it's Saturday until we find a day.
Yeah, this Saturday I'm gonna be slightly drunk.
Okay.
I'm
What?
at a
Slightly.
I'm at an event. The people at a vaping event, and they're actually paying me to be there, but they're giving me free alcohol and perhaps food. So it starts at 10 in the morning, and it ends whenever they feel like it, and usually it ends at 7. So
Oof.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. That if it happens in all pay again, it happens more in larger fight. Oh, the whole zoning out thing. Yeah, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Like I
That's
do
why
listen as much as I can, but
that's why I say you have to find, also as a DM, you have to find your ideal party.
mm,
For me, my ideal party size is 3 or less. So 4 or less. So I could go 4 or 3. 2 is going to be a bit difficult, but we did pull it off once. So I can do 2 as well. And if I've got enough preparation, I can probably run a game for a single person.
oh
Probably.
wow.
Yeah.
So how did you choose with the Vampire Masquerade, the live one? How did you choose your cast? Like, did you seek them out, or what happened?
I took a bunch of names and I threw it out there, and I waited for them to come back to me.
But like, what made you choose those particular names?
I basically I know Second Class Elitist from a long time ago, so I'm like, okay, cool. He's going to be a good addition because I know his love of fiction and everything would also contribute
To the story.
positively. To the story. Did I ask you guys personally, or did you come to me? I can't remember.
Mine
I
was
popped to your channel, and you were like, "Hey, I'm doing this," and I thought of you, so I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
damn.
I
didn't even
needed
get that one.
I needed South Africans, basically. I
Yeah.
needed South Africans to be in the thing.
Yeah, I was all
And,
streaming for a while, and I popped into your chat, and you were talking about it. I was like, "Hey, I just started watching LA by Night. It's pretty cool."
yeah.
And you're like, "Well, I'm having a thing." I'm like, "Can I be in it?"
Come!
Oh.
Yeah, Cobra Kai approached me, I believe, or I spoke to him about it, and he showed interest, and he's like, cool. Second Class Elitist is actually the one guy I'm like, hey, dude, do you have time for this? And he's like, yeah, cool. So I was literally sitting there planning everything out and waiting for people to actually show up that showed actual interest.
Yeah.
With the D&D thing that we did run for 9 episodes, what happened was I got a lot of interest, but none of them were real. None of them actually stuck around.
That was the one
Like,
with
not none of them, like most of them. They're like, yeah, I'm interested. Like, okay, cool. These are the times. This is what we're doing. Are you game for it? And then I heard nothing from most. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Messiah was a second to last minute edition.
Yeah, as I say, Messiah, Bad
Solden,
Al, Big Al.
Big Al, yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that a little bit. Like I said, I didn't watch it because like D&D just didn't like the story wasn't in depth enough for me. Like I like following characters, I like arcs, I like development, I like interactions, and it wasn't in that as much. So
Yeah, no, that is, like I said again, that's a different kind of role playing versus Vampire the Masquerade.
So we have a question in chat. Also, chat, if you don't know, you can ask questions, be it to us or to the store, to ZaffaGeek about DN or whatever you guys want to know. So, question to the storyteller. This is from Dayhawk. That's what they are called in Vampire. How do you find running a game over the internet versus in person has changed? How have it? How have you have to
Prep
prepare for a game? Sorry, I'm battering. I don't wear glasses.
The interesting thing is I have to prep more for the internet game than the tabletop game specifically, because yes, we have cameras and I can gauge how your body language is when I tell you something or whatever. But in person, when I sit there, if we were to do the same story, it would have been totally, if we were together in the same room and we did the same sort of setting, it would have turned out completely differently, because I would have possibly seen your body, your posture better, or how you represent, because I'm literally sitting here looking at a screen, making sure the cameras are correct, and looking at your facial expressions, and then trying to figure out how you feel about certain things. Whereas when I'm with you in the same room with someone in the same room, I can like focus on them and not worry about the rest.
So there's just more aspects you have to focus on besides the game itself.
Yeah, basically that's the difference between an online and an in-person tabletop that I have found. But the cameras do help a lot.
As I say, like if there was no cameras, like there's a I forgot what they're called. They do a podcast of it where you listen.
Oh, are you talking about it's also Vampire, right?
Let me find. I'll look for the name now. But like
they started off with like 4 guys on a call, and they just the first episode the sound was horrible. The second episode it got better. Third episode it's Chicago by Night. No, it's not Chicago.
It's Twin Cities by Night.
Twin Cities by Night. Twin Cities by Night. They're an amazing group. They started off really shitty.
There's hope for us.
They improved. Yeah, there's hope for us. Twin Cities by Night. Yeah, they're quite amazing. But Twin Cities by Night, was that the one where they played the humans?
I can't remember. I only just recently like started looking into them, so I haven't listened to all of their I have to go back and listen to a lot of their podcasts, but I've been looking into them. But I saw it so fascinating doing a podcast on it, because like for me, like with Vampire, like LA by Night, that's like I don't watch our show because I'm in it, but like when I watch LA by Night, I focus on like how they act and what, because like you see like when Annabelle is talking to Mark, she's touching him. Like we can't obviously touch her, but like you can see the emotion, and it draws you in. Like a podcast, like you have to listen and imagine it. Like for me, the only podcast I listen to is David Attenborough because of his voice.
the big thing that they did correctly in Twin Cities by Night is they were very descriptive in the use of their language. And that's what conveys
The imagery.
the whole in your minds. Yeah, the imagery. Like, okay, that's what they're doing. I can guarantee you that the characters that you picture is totally different to what the guys playing the characters are picturing them. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty great.
So yeah, the descriptive language helps a lot in that aspect, and I'm not good enough in descriptive language yet to pull something like that.
You do a
off.
lot though. Like when you do those intro scenes, the detail you put in is pretty good. I enjoy it. So we have a question from chat. I'm gonna read it because I think it's funny. Do I have to have such a magnificent beard to be a DM?
Okay, do you want the lewd answer or a normal answer?
Lewd, go for it
It's
if you
penguin,
want.
so it's probably lewd.
You can have a beard anywhere.
Anyway,
Oh my.
We asked for it, chat. We asked for it.
Nah, yeah, the beard optional.
Beard optional.
Let's
I
put
don't
it
have a
that-
beard.
that way.
I don't have a beard either.
Or do no, stop it, Zaffa, stop it.
Oh.
Anyway.
So, Lady, you're the one. So, Lady's never played tabletop, right? I'm correct in saying that?
yeah.
You've never role played, never done any of
Nope.
that. Like, do you think that it's something you would ever want to try? Because I can see your husband is like, I want to do this. Like, would you ever do it?
I don't know.
What's
Join us.
Here's the question.
Join
What's
us.
stopping
One of us. One of us.
Here's the big question. What's stopping you?
I don't think it's anything about stopping me or anything.
Mm.
I've just never been like really exposed to that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And I never really knew anybody that was like into it that would be like, oh, you should check this out. Like the most exposure I've had is going to like we have comic book day here, like
yeah.
very close to us. At flip, what is this place called? Comic book store
Century on
called
Main.
Wizards.
Yeah,
Yes,
Century on
Stadium
Main.
on Main
Stadium on
in,
Main, yeah.
in Claremont. Yeah, in Cape Town. And I think they actually have it every week.
They do.
I think it's every week.
It's like, I
But I
used to be
know
the
when-
member.
When they have comic book day, that place is flipping packed, and it's just tables laid out, and people like everyone surrounding these people doing it, and it's difficult to really observe if the place is just overwhelmed.
Okay, I'm
with a
gonna
lot of
I'm gonna
people.
I'm gonna use a very easy example here. I take it you have read at least a book in your life.
I've never been the biggest fan of reading, but the books I have read.
I'm talking about fiction in the library.
Yeah,
you-
no,
Wait.
yeah.
Lady, have you never read a Harry Potter book?
I think I read the first book when I was like a little girl.
I've
I
never
can't-
read any of them. I'll just show myself
She's like,
I'm
I'm
done.
gone.
I'm
out.
done.
Cheers,
I'm
guys.
done.
Bye. Kill the stream.
I'm done. No.
Rage quit.
I
Absolute
actually
rage
thought-
quit right now.
No.
I got the book as a gift, so I did read it. But like, I think it was the first one.
Oh my god, Luna.
I actually did that just so I could close my shutter.
I'm gonna piss Vinny off. Let me just do this quick so I can go do it.
Oh,
No, but the thing is, if you've read any fictional book, you are basically geared to roleplay. Most of your characters most of the first character that you create is actually one of your favorite characters from one of the books that you've read.
Mm.
That's usually what people fall into. Like my first Dungeons and Dragons character was basically a carbon copy of Drist de Urden and Dark Elf Two Swords, basically a carbon copy. Yeah, that's basically it. I just saw a question there before Oddly Otter disappears off the screen. How do I plan out stories for a session? About 30 or 40 minutes before the session starts.
And while the session goes, because we fuck him over.
Yeah, and while the session goes, the majority of my planning for the story sessions, this is what makes it actually better to plan for online sessions, is while I'm editing the videos, i.e. listening to it and make sure sound is okay, I hear what's happening the night again through the entire session, and then I'm like, okay, cool, I should remember that, and I write it down, and somewhere along the line, just a couple of key words, and that's how I plan out for the next session, if there's something that jumps out at me.
So I'm gonna ask actually Luna this question. So Luna, when you were creating your character, what was your draws?
What draws towards that?
Yeah, like what made you like start? Like obviously, for the sake of the City of Thorns, I know he made us on a contract, guys, so we cannot say too much that breaks our character. But like obviously, like just like what was your process in creating Theodora?
I think when I wanted to play a Theodora, I wanted to play a character which is the opposite of me. That would be quite, outspoken and well-spoken at the same time, but also a little bit fearless. And I can pretend to be all posh and stuff, while I drink my blood from my victim. I can't get to do that in real life, so why
Want to
not
pretend
play it in
it?
a game?
Nice. That was the same with me. Like when I was creating Olivia, her backstory kind of just came to me bit by bit. Like I kept thinking about it. My sister is my go-to. Like me and my sister will voice call, or, like video chat all day. Like even if we're not talking, like I'll be working and she'll be watching a show, we'll have voice chat on. But I was just spitting ideas off, and she gave me some things, and we built off there. But the character I created is so different now, because in the first episode I had an idea. I was like, she's gonna be closed off, she doesn't want to be there. But as it progressed, she changed, she opened up because of your character. Your character changed
I
my
think
character.
my character changed as well, definitely.
Like
She kind of evolved into something else.
Yeah.
This is your sister that I've actually met.
Yes, I actually told her that you're my guest today. She actually might be in chat. She said she might pop in.
Oh.
So look good, guys.
Hello, I are from South Africa.
That's actually how I met Zaffa. So my sister went to South Korea for that teaching program, and that was the same time that Zaffa went. And when I told my sister I was thinking about starting to stream, she knew more than I did. I was like, I'm thinking of streaming games. I really enjoy it. She's like, oh, on Twitch or YouTube? I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But then she mentioned Zaffa to me. She's like, oh, I knew this guy in South Korea, and then that's how me and Zaffa actually met. Unlike Luna, who made him over Twinder, but hey.
Excuse me.
We don't talk about that. Yeah, she was one of two other South Africans. We were three South Africans in Korea. She was like, it was her and her friend, I guess.
Oh,
And
oh
they
my
were
god,
like,
yes. I know that friend.
They were like, I was sitting in Dubai on the airport waiting for the next flight, and I saw them, and they were like talking to each other, but they were frightened as fuck. And I'm sitting there going, I've done this so many fucking times. I just want this to be over. Let me just try and help these. And then I figured out, oh, they're also going to the same program I'm going. And I'm like, well, okay, cool. But they were like, no, but how do we know where to go? And I just went over and like, listen, chill.
You can't tell
I
my
got
sister
this.
to chill. You cannot tell my sister to chill. Oh gosh. So as Dayhawk mentioned, like going back to characters, like your characters don't change a lot, and I think that's why I like the role playing part, like the focus on it, because not only as your job as a storyteller is to help our character arc by putting things in our path, but the way we play off each other affects how we act. Because like I said, I was gonna be this like if you go back to episode 1, like I was like on my own, I was like I don't give a crap, I don't want to be here. But then the more like I spent with Theodora, I was like, she became kind of like a touchstone to me, like a dead touch, not like a majorly, but I felt comfort in her, which I've never done before. So like it's crazy how like you don't plan it. Like I didn't think about it. Like, and it wasn't even me thinking, oh, I'm gonna change my character based off of what's happening. It's kind of just it feels like you are that character, and that what it's like your whole like me. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but when I'm playing Olivia Targram, I'm Olivia Targram. Like I am her.
Yeah.
Like when I'm not her, I'm like I'm so different to
And
her.
this is one thing to keep in mind, especially with games in the world of dark. That's why I kind of have the after show session so that we can close everything off and we can sort of
Reflect
put the
on it.
characters on pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the first time you fucking cried, I was like, oh shit, she's not okay. Oh shit, she's not okay. I was stressing out. I'm like, please be
broke
okay.
her.
Bye. I was thinking to myself, like, please be okay by the after show. Otherwise, we'll have to talk after the after show
After
to make
show.
sure you're okay. Yeah.
I think that first fight that we witnessed between Olivia and John, I was like,
Oh,
sitting there like, holy shit, is this real? I mean, I'm like, are they seriously arguing right now?
I won't lie.
Second-
When it was happening, I felt so bad.
like,
I was like, I can't believe I said
awkward.
that.
Second class elites actually came to me. He's like, dude, I feel so bad about it. I'm like, dude, it's drama. It's fucking amazing. I'm like, I just
I
hope you
don't
can
care if you
see.
have psychological issues. It's good. No, I won't lie, because when me and John, like, you know those moments when you get heated, and I just kept talking and talking, but I knew it wasn't me, but like I said stuff, and I was like, I shouldn't have said, like, Hagrid from Puck, even though you guys won't know, Hagrid, I was like, I shouldn't have said that, but it just kept coming out.
Yeah. No, it is with especially like the storyteller system. What happens is, and I believe second class elitist mentioned it like in one of our get-togethers,
Yeah.
is sometimes the role play gets so intense that your mind doesn't really distinguish between what you made up and what's actually true.
Yeah.
So it can screw you over. That's why the after show is there. That's why
To break you
like
off.
yeah, to break you off to make sure everything is okay. Now, I haven't watched all of LA by Night recently. What I do is I binge watch them on a day. So
Yeah,
I
on the
basically wait
YouTube.
for about 10 episodes and then I just binge watch everything. And what I saw on Twitter is like a lot of people were concerned for Erika Ishii's character. And they were like, are you okay after what happened that night and everything? And Vampires and Vino's like, yeah, we had a good talk afterwards just to make sure everybody's okay, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's so much focused on personal horror and psychological horror and storytelling. It is a very crucial, and that's also why I think a lot of people don't like it or don't want to get into it, because they are afraid of the whole, we don't know how to handle it if shit gets too real,
Too real, yeah.
you know? That's why they also have a guideline where it says like, listen, do you guys want to avoid before the campaign starts, what topics should we avoid?
Yeah, because
You
I'll say
know?
that's what you asked us too, like how comfortable we were. I know I said I'm fine with anything, but like I know, like after that crying scene, like I actually thought back to them, like, because like honestly, when I was doing that part, I actually put myself in the issue. That's how I got the motion. Was like, if that was my real sister, and that was happening, how would I feel? And it kind of just all came out, and it's like it took me a while to actually shake it too. It was like in my mind, like, oh my gosh, like my sister, like, will that ever happen? What would I really do? You know, would I be like Olivia? Would I break down, or would I try,
Yeah.
like certain topics do brush on you, like I don't know, Theodore, if you know it. Luna, if you've ever had like a topic, like I know, like on the wind down, we do talk about some controversial topics that do brush us
Yeah.
off. That's why I always say, hey guys, we're going to be talking about this. Are you okay with it? And I think that's so important because I can understand now how it is. Like once you get into the role of role playing, it's hard to just stop and pull out of it. You know, you get so caught up in it, and you are that thing.
I always just try to remind myself that it's not real. I'm playing a character. Everyone else is playing a character. It's just a story.
Sorry, have a big poster. It's a lie.
The cake is a lie.
The cake is a lie. Oh, Portal, good game.
Just a quick thing. Oddly Otter mentioned something about a game called 10 Candles, which is basically one-shot storytelling.
Ooh.
Good place to start. Like, 2 to 4 hour session and the story finishes.
What?
Yeah,
I never knew that.
I'm
It's like a
catching up.
quickie.
Is it
It's like
like
a
a
quickie.
set game? It's a quickie.
Yeah.
I wish that was a quickie.
If that was a quickie, okay, if that was a quickie,
Man would be
let me just say-
frustrated.
Let me just say.
For role playing, okay? For role
Mm.
playing. Content.
Well, role
Context.
playing can be a fun quickie too.
Okay. Moving along.
Yeah, let me just drink.
Okay, lady. So we have presented you with role playing, character arcs, bonding on a whole different level, and psychological issues. Would you ever be interested in joining us on the Vampire Masquerade?
I'm glad you said bonding and not bondage.
What?
Whatever
I
floats your
thought we were moving on.
Whatever floats your boat.
We're the ones
Whatever.
drinking here, not you.
I don't know. I guess if I can actually make the time and effort into trying it out, it's just a case of putting in the effort and the time for me.
Okay, this is how I started my character. If you ever imagine yourself in a world where you could like be like, this is how I did. Like, you're in a world where shit's gone to hell. How would you want your character to be?
Yeah.
Batshit crazy and on a killing spree.
Well, she's a Malkav. What's it called?
Malkavian.
She's a
Malkavian.
Malkavian.
Well, technically, she could be a Bruja as well if she wants to go.
Oh
and
my
turn
gosh,
to-
bro.
Yeah.
I thought John was
A Bruja.
no. I thought he was something else, and then the whole incident in the park happened. I was like, he's not.
He's not. No.
He's not calm and collected. He's not the leader. He's a Bruja.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
Ventura?
Yeah, I thought he was a Ventura at first because he had the boxing thing, He's like, oh, he's a, businessman. Nope. No, he's not.
No.
Yeah,
I
'cause
guessed
also
yours
thought
straight
that only
away.
Mine? Yeah.
I guessed yours straight away by the way you're acting. I was like, we have one of those.
You're one of those. Those hoity-toity ones.
It's
Okay.
a pull up her ass one. Do you know which one I am yet?
I had my suspicions, but I think I know.
You think you know? Because someone thought I was the Bruja. Bruja, and I was like, really?
You know why they thought you were the Bruja? Because you had the same red jacket as another Bruja.
See, I told you the
That
jacket
jacket.
would be an issue, and it's
Yeah.
maroon.
I
Well,
think
maroon.
You're a Tremere. You're a Tremere? I think you're a Tremere.
Mm.
Yeah.
After all the things I've been doing, the casting, I assumed that it would be kind of obvious.
Yeah, the blood magic and stuff.
The jacket, yes, the jacket. No, do you know what I've always dreamed about though? So I've always wanted our game to match up with another Criteria game because there's another show I watch. It's also, it's called Chicago by Night. I was like, that would be so cool if one of them just came to South Africa for some reason, or we like somehow linked up and like try to get us. I don't know. I just would love this massive interweb of,
That would be kind of cool, yeah. That would be
Right?
kind of cool. But what they did, and I know it is again on Sounds of Silence. They were two different. Sounds of Silence is part of. Man, I have to go look for it now. Sounds of Silence. It's a role for it is the one group, and the other guy is FTL Gaming. They run two separate campaigns. But what happens is some of those people actually join each other.
That's cool.
Yeah, like some of them join each other. The one guy played a totally different character that he played, and it is that he, it is just that would be cool if we could eventually pull something like that off as well.
That'd be cool.
Hashtag future goals, yo.
We should message Chicago and I'm like, hey, do you want to come to South Africa?
Hey, you
Want to
could.
experience South Africa?
Right? When you're done
Yeah.
with your whole story and like whatever, and you're out of vampire school, come join us.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So I guess we can't ask you this shit. I was about to ask what's your next big, like, can you give us an exclusive on your next show idea, like your scenario? But then I realized you have two of us here. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna ask the question, and then Luna and I'll put it down.
And then you'll watch it tomorrow after the stream, like,
Oh, right. We're like,
what did he say
what
there?
am I preparing for? I guess we
I could do
can't.
it in interpretive dance.
Do it!
No.
You
Then
need
why
to drink more for
suggest
that.
Right.
Yeah. I'll only dance when I'm drunk enough. That's it. That's my rule.
Okay, here's
Um,
another thing. What would make you fall out your chair? Like in the story, if something happened during the stream or the story, what would make you just like flabbergasted?
It already happened.
When?
When you revealed your dress.
Oh yes.
When that happened, I was like, keep your composure. My mind is going, keep your composure. My face was going. When you revealed your dress, I'm like, shit, is she naked? What?
Hold on.
You know that gif where the guy's going,
Yeah.
that was me.
So, Chad, if you don't know, so Olivia Targram is not one of your Theodoras. Best way to describe it. She doesn't tend to dress up like she wears the same jacket, you know, plain shirt. So Theodora had this fancy party, and it was really important to her. So Olivia decided she was going to be nice, which is new for her, and be, you know, do something. So she had her leather jacket over the dress, and when she unzipped it, I guess my dress is very like open until like here, so it kind of looked like I wasn't wearing anything, but I was.
I was freaking out, and I'm like, don't pull a pervert face, don't pull a pervert face.
But it was a very pretty dress.
It was. That was the
It was
first
a
time
very
I
pretty
wore
dress.
it too. Well, Olivia wore it, but yeah. Oh god. So besides partial nudity, like for me, like I always think, just imagine if Jason just pops into our chat and is like, cool.
And then we'll be like,
Yeah. Yeah. That would be kinda cool.
I'm like, that's the end of the stream because
I'll be like, oh crap, I don't have a black piece of cloth. I'll be like, no, we're done. We're done.
oh god. Has
But-
he ever ran a LARP?
oh yeah.
No, I haven't. I'm actually invited to a LARP in the near future. That
That's
they've
exciting.
asked me to stream it. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh,
cool.
that's interesting.
What-
They're actually doing the pre-LARP practice sessions this Saturday, but I've got previous engagement.
Pre-LARP?
Yeah, the guy's like the guy organizing it is his first LARP that he's running. So he wants
Um.
to make sure everything's gonna run smooth. They're gonna test out how to fight, they're gonna test out how to cast spells and crap like that.
You throw a flower.
So that's basically what he's trying to figure out.
That's
the whole
interesting.
I would
logistics
love
behind
to
LARP.
try LARPing. I would love it.
Right?
You
Very
know the
much.
funny thing is back in the old day with Vampire the Masquerade, that's how people played. They
Yeah.
came in fully clothed with their dresses. They all drank either grape tizer or wine, and they literally went to a house and role played. I
That's
know.
awesome.
I know there's a documentary on Vampire the Masquerade, and what's the lady's name? It's not Annabelle, the other lady,
Oh, Nelly G?
Nelly G. She actually features in that documentary, and she like referenced
Oh,
it the
that's
other
so
day, and she's like,
cool.
"That's my first time I played a vampire," and I'm like,
So cool.
She does really well. Even I remember watching the first episode. Like you could tell, like in the first episode, Emily and I, you can see some of the characters are still getting used to each other. Like I
"Mhm."
know for us, like we're still like the thing is like I know we're doing way better than we did, but I know we can do so much better. Like the last episode was probably the first time I felt that we did really good play off each other, like conversations. Like especially when we were all trying to pull a guy out the cement floor.
I
Context
was
not needed.
trying not to eat him alive.
Oh my
but
god, I
okay.
know, right? But I felt like that was like the first time where we went through an entire scene without Zaffa trying to pull us into it, you know? We are trying our best to play off each other. I thought that was really good. Like when you
Zaffa
watch,
was trying to get me to bite him though.
but when you watch LA by Night now compared to in the first episode, because Jason also had to do the same thing where he said, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you saying?" You know. Now there's like you will sit there for an hour. They will just be talking to each other, running it, you know, and he would just
And
be
you'll just
standing
see
there, taking
you'll
it
just
in.
see Jason standing there going,
Yep.
and just look at everybody. And
Yeah,
then
and then he'll write something down. He's like, and he'll double
Yeah.
check, saying, he's like, "Did you do that though?" And they're like, "Yeah," like kind of scared, like, "Was I not supposed?" And then he just
and he's
nod
like,
right down,
oh, and he's
I'll
like,
remember this for
okay.
later.
and they'd be like, "I just need to roll
Mhm.
something."
Yeah.
Okay. And I honestly, I would not want to be in his thing because I would be like, "What did he roll? What is happening?" Oh gosh, no, it's awesome.
Next
I
time I'm in
saw
Cape Town, I have to come to Bloom. And you're gonna take me to all the places, Zaffa.
That'd be, you should do that, like stream. Oh, that'd be so cool for all day, and you could stream like all the places with us. But I
I
live
want
in
to do.
America.
I still want to do the whole Bloom vampire tour. Where I'm
That'd be
like,
cool.
this is the place that got blown up. This is the place that I'm not allowed to go because I will be killed. But this is where you found the secret door.
Yeah.
This is this is Granny Laura's place.
Granny, the hag. Yes, you have to come to Bloom. We will. Next year, December, I'll be in South Africa and I'll make a trip to Bloom.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
I'll make a plan for that time of the year as well.
Right? Let's just go to
Get-
Bloom.
Totally.
Get your sister to come with you to Bloom. You know, they've got family here, so you've got a free
Oh
trip
no,
to
my
Bloom,
cousin
so-
actually. My cousin used to be there, but she just left. It was my
Ah,
cousin.
shit.
She's moving to New
Mm.
Zealand. Wonder why?
No. There's less censored there. Anyway,
It's
continue. Yeah?
censored. But yeah, if there's any more questions when we come back from a break, you guys can ask it. I feel like we've just overrun Lady with such nerdy RPG talk. She's just like, I don't know. Hi.
I'm just over here.
No, but seriously, so we're gonna take a quick, very short break. We'll come back and we're gonna be talking about our next topic, which is the Twitter issue of cancel culture and also like just general. And there's actually a main topic branching from that, which is the Zoe and Alec incident. If you guys don't know what it is, you will find out, or you can go on Twitter and I assure you it is still huge. Zaffa, as usual, we invite our guests to join us. Would you like to join us for the last topic?
I'll be here. I just need new drink.
New drink. Awesome. So, guys, we will be right back. If you guys do have any more questions for Zaffa or us about character creation, storytelling, all that, post them, and then when we come back from that, we'll cover them and then move on to our next topic. But until then, we'll see you soon. We're back. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, guys. You have to endure us a little bit longer, Zaffa.
Yeah.
That's how me and my sister voice call. If one of us call each other, you have to, it's like, I don't know why, it's an unspoken thing, but you have to put the camera right to your face and do the most weirdest face ever. So when they
I do
answer,
that with my sister as well.
sounds like a thing.
I do that as well.
Like that, but no, but like we come up and we're like, how you doing? I go back to my Twitch, 0 followers. No, but like it's just interesting. So yeah, guys. So we're gonna be talking about Twitter issue. So this has been a thing.
I just quickly want to say something. Just to put it out there. The world needs more DMs or game masters. I believe, and I'm going to put Luna on the spot here. She sent me a message the other day. It's like, Zaffa, thank you for organizing this. I've always wanted to be a part of this, of something like this, but I never had the opportunity. So there's a lot of people out there that wants to be part of a role-playing group. You just don't know about it. And if you feel confident enough to GM, which is basically already a couple of steps before I started GMing, a couple of steps better, just go and GM. You'll find friends and people appreciate you for it and appreciate to have the opportunity, and everybody's going to have fun.
Like honestly, if Vampire Alma, if City of Thorns ended after like 2 episodes, I still would have been so grateful for the opportunity to try, because it's always been something I wanted to try, and just getting out myself obviously would have left me craving it more, but the opportunity to finally do something I've been wanting to do was it was like amazing. It was like to be able to create something other than myself, to be able to play something I've always wanted to do, you know. I don't know. It's like I don't know how to explain it. Like, lady, I know it's like such a big concept and so weird, but honestly, it is one of the. It's like something I look for. Like whenever we can't do an episode, I actually get upset because I honestly crave it. I'm not like an addiction, but I miss being able to role play. It's like it's my escape. Like gaming is an escape, but like this is like it's just fun to not be Minnie. It's fun to be in another life in another world. It's kind of like VR for games, but you just have total control over everything. Well, until the GM fucks you over. But, you know, it's just like it's surreal and it's just I love it.
You know what first got me into role playing was I started role playing in Guild Wars 2.
Oh,
I was standing AFK in one of the main cities, and a couple of role players walked past me, and I was like, "What's this?" And I kind of followed them into a tavern where a lot of the RPs are. And I kind of stood there for a while, and then it's like, "Okay, this is cool. I'm gonna make a character," and I did, and I started role playing there.
that's very
So
cool.
yeah, so if you want to try it out, we can role play in ESO. I role played the other
I
day.
have ESO and I haven't played it.
Come play role play with us. Come play ESO.
I should.
Roleplay is a different channel. Roleplay is a different channel. No.
Come play ESO with us. I did a very small RP session when my character became a vampire. It was quite funny.
Ooh, wait, I can be a vampire?
You could be either a vampire or a werewolf. I chose to be a vampire.
I kind of want to be a werewolf. I've always wanted to be a lichen.
Wild doggo.
So you're telling me is I need the next thing that I plan should be werewolf.
No, because I'm addicted to. I feel like I can't ditch Olivia. She's my baby now. I will lose
Okay.
my voice if I RP in ESO.
It's all just typing and then emoting. That's all. There's no actual speaking or voice.
Oh, really?
No. That's what I liked about it so much, is because it was all typing and you didn't have to speak, because I have that stutter. So for me, that's a bit that's a drawback for myself. So being able to RP while typing it out was a lot easier, and then also helped me to progress into speaking. And then I was asked by another friend of mine to be a guest on their D&D campaign, and I played a warlock tiefling, which was really fun. I was there for 1 or 2 sessions, and then Zaffa asked me to join the Vampire the Masquerade, and I was like, yes, let's do this. I'm gonna conquer my fear. I'm gonna get over this, because there was a lot of anxiety involved as well. So it was something I always wanted to do, so it just like kind of jumped in the deep end.
Just an interesting side note: when you roleplay as Theodora, your stutter is gone.
You do. I was going to say, you don't notice it.
I feel like I stutter a lot when I play her.
No, I feel like it's
when
also
you-
because
you-
Theodora's slow with the way she talks. She's very elegant, so you don't hear it as much. So let's say the amount of times you shouted at me and I never heard a stutter, and like, you shout at me a lot.
But okay, cool.
Next
For
topic.
now, we're done. Next topic.
Sorry, it's such an interesting topic. I can't wait to continue sometime. But yeah, guys, so if you guys don't know, there's this thing called cancel culture. It's the idea of boycotting. Now, it has its pros and cons. Like, certain things deserve to be boycotted, but it's gone to the point where people are using and abusing it. And it actually got to the point, for me, I feel like this is one of the most serious cases where an individual had accused someone of sexual assault. And I just want to say now, being sexually assaulted it's not a joke. It is very and it harms you. When I was young, and it messed me around a lot. It took me a long time to feel comfortable to take a next step with someone I trusted and loved. So it is not something you can just throw around. And there has been a lot of cases where people have said it and it wasn't true. There was a man that went to jail for many years until the girl came out and said I was lying. Firstly, when that happens, you're taking away from the true victims. You're taking away their stories. You're taking away their validation. So there was an incident where someone on Twitter made accusations to a game developer, and he lost his job, he lost his accounts, he got mobbed on Twitter, and I think it was a few days later he took his life. The reason this situation, it's not that it pissed me off, it's more that people just didn't understand. We don't know if it's true or not. We don't know if it happened, but at the end of the day, no matter if it was true or not, someone had taken their life without true judgment. The fact is, if he did do it, there's no justice in what happened. And if he didn't do it, an innocent life was taken because people on Twitter, it's that we talked about this last stream, the psychological thing, that people believe the person who pulls the trigger first.
Yeah.
So we're going to go around, everyone gets to say their little opinion, and then we'll go over that. So we'll start with Lady.
Whew, that's heavy.
I know,
It's,
like I said, guys, this is a heavy topic. If you guys don't want to be, if you want to be taken out of it, it is a very heavy topic. It honestly, it took me a while to want to talk about it because, like I said, it is something personal for me too. But I feel like that's why I need to say something about it.
yeah, I don't know how I feel about it because I've also been actually not too long ago. It's not something that I speak about openly, but I was also sexually assaulted by someone that I worked with. And like to throw accusations like that around and to just it also comes back to the what's it, the Jared Dines, the guy that we spoke about not too
Oh,
long ago.
Jared, yeah,
He was
Pro
also a
Jared.
victim
pro
of
Jared.
yes, he was also a victim of cancel culture.
Yeah, and false his was he proved it to be false accusations.
But look how quickly his name went down, and look how long it took for him to recover to make that video about
Yeah.
what actually went on.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who says what first. If you don't have the proof or anything to show for it, there's no point in stirring shit when it's not even your place to say it in
Yeah.
at all. Because it's people, it's bullying. It's bullying. People get bullied all the time on the internet, and it's not nice.
No.
So for me is if you don't want to be in a situation where you don't feel comfortable and you're not happy, don't put somebody else through the same shit. So
Yeah.
keep your slate clean. Don't go around spreading shit if you don't have any factual evidence or any evidence at all to back your story.
And it's not
It
just the
doesn't
evidence
matter.
thing, because like there are cases like for me, I don't have proof it happened. It happened many years ago. I was a really young kid. You know, he was a teenager. It's firstly my word against his. It's just that there's also proper channels for it. Twitter is not it. If you're gonna make an
No.
accusation on Twitter, take it to the police too. Because that's not gonna do anything for you. For me, I never told anyone about it because I know I was young and I kept thinking I was embarrassed by it, I was ashamed, and it took me years. I only ever opened up about it when I was in high school in an English class because someone was talking about it and it just came out. I was like, that's not how it is. You don't understand what it's like being that victim. Sorry. But going on Twitter and tweeting it is not the answer because firstly, you just look at the backlash that came to that victim if she is the victim because they say like, why didn't you go to the police, why didn't you have proof, da 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 da. I agree. Like if she went to the police, and I'm not saying it's easy going to police and opening up, but if she still went to police when she was ready to make the accusation, she still should have opened a case so that it would have been a legitimate thing, you know. And I know that the system doesn't always take our side, and I know the system is like, look at the Brock Turner thing and all that, but it also would have helped her case a little more. And honestly, it would have helped Alex's case because at the same time, we still don't know if he had taken his life, if he was innocent or not.
Yeah.
Luna?
It's incredibly scary. how you could just ruin someone's life like that. It's frightening. It really is. Yeah, and I think, make an accusation like that on social media is just, I think it's sick. If it's, a lie. You're ruining someone's life.
And you're taking away from other people. I feel like you're taking away the seriousness of sexual assault.
Yeah.
And I also feel like it's gone to the point where everyone has to walk. I know cancel culture is so serious where everyone feels they have to walk on eggshells. You say the wrong thing, you do the wrong thing. You could say and do things with the right intentions, but then there's someone out there who takes it and puts you in the wrong. You're screwed. There's no saving you. Zaffa, what's your thoughts?
No, I'm with you all with this. It's serious stuff that happens. It's interesting to see that while this all happened, Pro Jared's video got,
Go what? So you
he
cut out for
was
me?
Pro Jared's video was released during
yeah.
when all this happened, and he came off way better than what they painted him out to be because he had proof. What I kept on thinking when I heard this person committed suicide, I was like, what if he just stuck around to even like just to? It's the court of public opinion, unfortunately, and the phrase "death by 1,000 cuts."
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the 1,000th cut hit him somewhere, and he unfortunately committed suicide. Whether or not he's guilty, these are just accusations. And what's telling is the moment it got out that he committed suicide, the accuser made her tweets private.
She disabled Facebook and Twitter and all her accounts.
It was only, I think it was yesterday or today, I'm talking American time, that it became active again.
Yeah, yesterday.
It was yesterday, yeah. And the thing is, again, with cancel culture, there's a lot of people, indie developers, that I looked up to. Like these guys and girls are pretty damn amazing at what they do. I love the way they look at games. And I've seen some of their stuff that they've said, and I'm sitting there going, some of them said, like, after this guy committed suicide, we're still being aggressive towards him and his actions and everything. And I'm like, but you missed the point. Someone lost their life.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's worse. I'm not saying it's worse than the accusation that this person apparently did it, but have a bit of respect. It's exactly the same thing, and I'm going to pull it in a different, put another thing that came to mind. I saw that, and I immediately thought about the negative backlash that happened straight after Total Biscuit's death. A lot of people came out and said he was crap, and I'm like, but he hasn't been laid to rest yet. Why do you just respect people enough, before you open up the wounds again? But cancel culture is, I mean, personal experience, and Lady Bathory knows some of it. I have been attacked too on Twitter, not in that same fashion, but I mean, and this was just the South African community, and I felt crap for weeks on end. I was like, maybe I should stop just everything. But I'm not saying it's relatable, but that's my way how I relate to cancel culture. And like Pro Jared said, there's always another side to the story. Now, unfortunately, we won't be able to hear the other side unless something happens, unless someone comes out. And that is the sad part. We'll never know.
If you guys don't know, Alec didn't have easy life. He went through a lot of mental issues. He had to go to a lot of therapies, and he had only recently started getting on a good path again. And at the same time, you guys also have to realize he was a son, a brother, a friend, and at the same time, he's alive. And I feel like in today's society, we don't respect life anymore because we're so media and Twitter and social, like we don't respect each other.
You
It's
don't see
really
people as people anymore.
no, if someone's being beat up, we take videos of it and post it so we can get views on Twitter. It's disgusting. And like the artist, he asked, is it just drama and or is it everything that's real? It's drama. It's
People love it.
we feed off it. And I won't lie, I also like I'm not one to go start drama, but when I see drama, I'm like, what's happening? But
I mean,
I know the
I'm
line.
guilty. Yeah, I'm guilty of that as well. I mean, I watch a lot of It's a Gundam videos, and it's basically just a drama video the whole time. And I'm like, yeah, you're freaking out. I understand your points, but it's I'm watching it because it's drama, you know.
Yeah.
But still, it is just.
It's human nature, I guess.
It is. I mean, like some of the people, like I'm talking out of personal experience. Some of the people that were the worst. I'm allowed to swear, right?
Yeah,
I
I do it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
The worst pieces of shit to me during that time. I met them less than 2-3 months later at an event, and they were the nicest guys, or they were the nicest people when I met them. And I'm sitting there going, all you need on Twitter is the ability to reach through the screen and punch someone in the dick when they call shit, you know, because Twitter is their, for lack of a better word, safe space. They're hiding behind their screen, you know, and the more they get people to group up against someone, the worse it gets. Again, death by 1,000 cuts, and
1,000 retweets.
or 1,000 retweets. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No. As I say, Zaffa, was your story about when I think I was there? It was with when we still had the Zar streams up, right?
Oh no, the Twitch today. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember.
I
what you're
remember
talking
that
about.
as well.
Basically, I was a prophet because a year later, everybody basically was an echo chamber of what I said the year before. Everybody that attacked me was like, "Oh yeah, now you follow my thing. Now you believe what I said." And it was bad, man. It was literally. I think it went on. The first 2 weeks was the worst, and then like 4 or 5 months down the line, I would see a certain hashtag, and I'll be like, is this thing still going on? Really? And
They will.
I mean, I don't really care about it anymore, but it is a thing that happens. Cancel culture is a thing that happens, and it can happen to anyone.
Yeah. That's
It can
what's so
happen to
frightening
anyone.
about it.
Audley, going back to what it's not just because they want to bully others, it's also because a lot of people grow their channels or their socials because of what they say. That's honestly what the sad thing is. A lot of these people do what they do just to build up that social number. They don't care
It's for
who they bring.
clout.
It's for
Yeah.
clout. They don't care who they bring down. They don't care who they hurt, as long as they get an imaginary number on top of that screen. And that's the sad thing is that we as a society are more inclined to respect a number, a digital number, than a life on this planet. And
I read.
yeah,
No, you carry on. I'll do
I
this
forgot what I was
later.
gonna say. You go.
Sorry. I read something recently. I think you guys might have read it as well. You can have 3,000 followers on Twitter or on Instagram, but how many of those people, or like 10,000 friends on Facebook, but how many of those people will be at your bedside when you're sick, or will come to your funeral if you die?
Or when you get cancelled, culture cancelled.
Yeah, who will be there to help you? I think a small handful.
Yeah.
You know, it's that imaginary number, that clout chasing is just I mean, literally, and this is a bit behind the scenes. Every time I'm somewhere and I have to send out an Instagram post, I look around me and go, God damn it, I have to do an Instagram post. I don't want to do it, but I have to, you know. And yeah, cloud chasing and being part of the drama to get views is that's why Drama Alert is so successful.
Yeah.
You know, reports on dramas and everything. And I mean, nothing against the dude, but you know,
Like on Twitter, I follow Kimstar, and
Yeah.
it's more because he keeps me like knowing what's happening. But some of the things he posts about or it says, I'm like, it's just not the time. It's not the right thing. But there's just, I don't know. I also feel like I don't feel like it's just people at Twitter's fault, like people at Walmart. It's companies. For instance, with the Alec issue, these companies brought his life down over allegations. They never gave him the benefit of the doubt. They didn't let him explain or give him a chance to say his side. They just canceled him. And I understand why. They are pressured. It's kind of like this endless cycle. But at the same time, he didn't deserve that. For instance, if Zaf, I'm just gonna use it. If I go on Twitter right now and say, when I was in Bloom visiting my cousin, and I went to go see ZaffaGeek because he's my DM for Vampire Masquerade, he sexually assaulted me. People would go against Zaffa instantly. They wouldn't ask my side of the story. They wouldn't ask his side of the story. They would just bring him down. He would lose his vaping thing. I assume he will lose a lot because of a tweet that I had
Yeah.
made up, which I would never do because I understand the seriousness of it. It is disgusting and it is sad because that is the world we live in. And like I kind of feel like every generation there's a thing for it. Like a reason to bring people down, be it their race, their gender, and I just feel like nowadays calling someone is sexually abusing you is the hottest gun out there, and people using it half the time are fucking lying.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting. It is demeaning to people who are in that struggle. And people wonder why people are scared to talk about their incidents. It's because everyone just assumes they're lying because of the amount of people that are using it to their gain. They are the disgusting people. They are the demons. They are the what is wrong with society. Not Twitter, even though they jumped. Twitter is at fault because they just want the cloud and they just want to jump the gun. Companies are at fault for not investigating and having faith in their employees. But the worst of the worst are those people making those false claims to benefit themselves. For I don't even know what reason. Like, why would you do that to someone?
It is there was a show that I watched, Darren Brown, where he made a reality TV show just to show you the depravity of humankind, right? So what happened is it was the show where people got to wear masks and they got to control an unexpected person's day, and they would have literally voting options. So what would happen is they would follow the guy. They say like his friends are in on it. We're in his apartment. What should we do? And they'll have a couple of options, and some of the options are like trash his computer, break his Xbox, and people would vote for it because they're anonymous, right? And it went through, and the guy's night progressively went worse. The victim's night progressively went worse, up to a point where at some point he was caught by police.
Yeah.
And when he got the chance to escape, he ran off and a car drove by and hit him. And the moment that happened, everybody started freaking out and they started taking off their masks. Darren Brown came out and was like, the actual people who were played were you, the crowd. Everything tonight was acted out. Everybody was actors. Everybody was fine. We were just trying to see what you guys would vote for. And that is, again, that is the whole mob mentality and the court of public opinion at work on Twitter.
Yeah.
Also, the idea they're untouchable because you can tweet something. What are they gonna do? They can't do
Yeah.
anything to you.
They
Tweeting
can't.
it, like Taylor Swift says, guys, tweeting it is a cop out. It's not true. It's do it in your face and we'll see how it happens. If you're not willing to do it to that person's face, don't do it over a tweet. You're a
Yeah.
twit for tweeting it.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
It's just there's a way to do things. There is channels for reasons. And yes, I know those channels are fucked up right now. I'm South African. I know those channels are fucked right now. But starting the process and going down that avenue along with, other things is super, super important. It is the right way because in my book, I'm at the point, and I'm sad to say this, if you don't report it or have evidence, I believe you're one of those demons out there that are trying to gain.
Yeah.
And it's sad to say that. And me, as someone who went down that avenue of being abused, I have to say, like, if you're not willing to stand up for what you believe in, Zoe disabling her accounts and not going to police, for me, is her not standing up for herself. That's her cop out. She just tweeted it and left it. That's not right. For me, if I ever
No.
decided to take charges, I would go to the police. I will not tweet it. That's not where that belongs. I would tweet it if I had started the process and said, "Hey guys, I just did something I should have done a long time ago, and I'm taking a stand for myself." Me tweeting, "Oh, that person sexually assaulted me," is not the right thing to do because you're putting the law in the wrong hands or the wrong thumbs.
But
Because yeah,
The online
sorry,
kind of.
yeah. There was one person who tweeted out something about her friend, and it was again notice. Again, this is the pro Jared thing, but there's a lot of people just jumping on the bandwagon. She tweeted out that pro Jared did something at an event,
oh, I
and pro
remember
Jared
that.
wasn't even at the event. He's literally saying there, "Listen, show me evidence." Now, how many of those people with the whole Alec thing were just like, "Oh yeah, I remember this," or maybe this. I mean,
Jumping on the bandwagon.
yeah, jumping on the bandwagon. Like the quartering said today, the guy barely hit the ground, and there were people saying, "I hope he suffered. I hope he suffered." And I'm like,
Oh.
why the hell do you want to? Why? You know? I sat there like when I saw the topics tonight. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's just do a bit of a refresher course. And that new video came out, and I'm like, this is just humanity, clout chasing. And I mean, it's kind of ironic coming from us. We're streamers, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, but it just doesn't make sense to me, you know?
Yeah.
Let's take that example of what you said. If you tweet it out, I mean, I'm going to be fucked no matter what, you know? I mean, even if I do shave my beard off and look like a 2-year-old kid again, it won't help, you know?
Yeah.
And cancel culture is so freaking, or the court of public opinion, because that's basically what happened here. The public decided something is correct, and everybody believed it. Even the person who was accused, who might have been wrongly accused, I'm not saying he was right. I'm not saying he was either way accused, but this person who was accused got it. It happened to such an extent that he believed it himself. And another thing is he predicted it in 2016. He actually predicted what would happen in 2000. He had like fears. There's a word for it that it's a recent video by the Quartering where he talks about it, where he's like, what if this and this and this happen? What if you feel like the entire community is out to get you? And he mentions a couple of things, and I'm sitting there, and the Quartering is talking about it, and I'm like, wow, this is, 2 years ago, he's already in a bad mind space, head space, whatever. And he believed people were out to get him. But he tried to combat it, try to treat it by going to events and trying to tell himself, like, like exposure therapy, going to events and realizing that no one is
You're
against
fine. You're safe. Yeah.
you're fine. Yeah, you're safe and everything. And he was talking about these fears 2016. It's not 2018 anymore. 3 years ago. And it came to pass. It's just no.
Yeah.
It's a difficult topic.
It is, and I know that talking about it's not going to help it because, you know, we say something about it, we're misogynist, we're anti-victims, we're everything bad with the world, you know, just because you ask for both sides.
I mean, I'm the token bad guy here. I'm sitting with 3 women talking about this, you know.
Boo,
And I know,
misogynist!
yeah, and I know you guys are going to cover this eventually, but recent happenings in South Africa. I was literally sitting there going, why? You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you're this and this type of person, don't show your face in public. And I'm like, but I didn't do anything. You know? And then they're like, exactly, you didn't do anything. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but what? Why?
You can't win. You can't. It's
Yeah.
blanket punishment. You know, it's that idea like you're a male, you're wrong because you didn't say anything, because you did this. Like no matter what you do, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're the worst of the worst, and it's sad. Like, because I know for a fact, not every guy out there is the scum of the earth, and I know that a majority of men are, and a majority of men feel like they own us, and it's not right. But it's just like it's like the idea when people call you racist, you be like, oh well, that's I grew up with different colors. You know, I best friend. Nope, that you just hide. In fact, you're more racist now, but you know, you only hide behind. You know, it's just no matter what you say nowadays, you dig yourself your grave.
I mean, for me personally, more than a couple of years ago, I went through a certain phase, and I'm talking about what, 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago, I went through a certain phase in my life. And I'm still afraid. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't sexually assault someone. But for me, basically, in my opinion, I'm a straight white cis male, if you want to call me that. Every girl, I'm a very affectionate man. I'll touch you on the shoulder, or, first time one of my friends introduced me to her friend, also a girl, I looked at her, I'm like, come on, bring it in. And this girl doesn't like being touched, but she allowed it, you know. But even something as small as that could be turned against you eventually.
Yeah.
You know. And luckily they are thinking human beings. She is a thinking human being, and she's like, he's just trying to show me that everything's okay. He's this big chubby guy, and he gives wonderful hugs, ladies. And but I'm that kind of person. I like physical touch. You know, I'll like men and women.
You're not
I'll
left
grab
out,
a friend by the
guys.
shoulder. Yeah. You know, if you want me to touch you, guy. No, that's getting. But men and women, I'll greet a guy like friends of mine, or even if I don't know them, I'll be greeting them, pulling them in for a hug, touching them on the shoulder, you know, slapping them. You know, that's my way of communicating. And but it could be perceived in so many wrong ways. Look at Keanu Reeves. He doesn't touch any of his fans.
No, he doesn't.
Because he's
You
scared.
know that. Because he's doing hover hands, I think it's called. Because he knows it could be used against. Or maybe it's just he doesn't like touching people. I don't know. But
Sensitive.
yeah. But it's scary to think. Like, when I think of my days back then,
How can it affect you now?
consenting adults and everything, I just need it's just I'm still walking on eggshells, because someone could turn around and said this and this and this happened, he's to blame, cause some shit, you know.
Yeah.
No, you'll never see. It's getting to the point where you're just gonna have to walk around with like condolence forms and consension forms. Like, hey, can you sign this before I hug you, or can you sign this before I look at you? Because everything is just fuel for someone else. Yeah. So
Since
guys,
when did society become so touchy and sensitive?
when they realized they could get away with it.
My
Yeah.
husband and I were watching Married with Children, like the old
Oh, I
rerun.
love that show. Love
Yeah.
And you were saying to me the stuff that they talk about and what happens in that show in today's society, everybody would be offended.
ended.
Mm, yeah.
It's
I mean,
silly actually if you think about
half of Al Bundy's jokes were fat jokes
Like
when he worked in the
Friends.
bookshop.
Mhm.
Friends.
It would not be allowed because they insult fat people. They, all that stuff. It wouldn't be allowed. But I'm like,
They
and how
make
he
gay
treated
jokes.
his wife as well. It's just like today, this day, it would be a no go.
I mean, they made a bunch of gay jokes in Friends or
mm-hmm.
Friends, homophobic. One would call it today homophobic joke.
Yeah.
But at that stage, it was like everybody thought Chandler was gay, and he went out of his way to prove that he's not gay. You
Yeah.
know, and they made fun of it. And but in today's society, you can't pull that off. I mean, even look at Dave Chappelle, the controversial guy recently. His everybody hates his style of comedy because he offends a certain group of people, and he's like, but comedy, it is.
Yeah, it's
A
comedy.
joke.
Exactly what
Yeah.
it is.
Ugh.
It's just, and that's why like Dave Chappelle is one of the last comedians that's actually worthwhile to listen to. I believe one of our last and great comics that passed away 2-3 years ago, George Carlin,
Mm.
was one of the few guys who spouted the truth, and he basically also predicted a bunch of shit that's happening currently. That I'm like, yeah, I wish he was. I'm kind of glad he's gone because he wouldn't see this happening, but I kind of wish he was here so he could shit on more people.
Get out. Honestly, if I knew I was gonna die tomorrow, I would just date and be honest with everyone that society just needs to take a chill pill. There's
Mm.
certain things that
Yeah.
do need to be need to be paid attention to, but blowing the whistle on every little thing is taking away from the serious things.
Yeah.
You know, like my one friend deleted her Facebook because she dressed up as a Native American and Indian 15 years ago for Halloween. But she was so scared that someone would find it, post it, and her life would go down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
I love Asian dresses. I love them so much. They are flippin' stunning.
Me too. I
And
love
I
wearing them
have
too.
I have one. I have
Mm.
one, but I never wear it.
I don't,
Because someone is going to say something, and there's going to be an issue. But now it's just in my cupboard,
It's
and I'll take it out and I'll
Mulan.
look at it and be like, "This is
Yep.
gorgeous," and I'll put it back.
Put it back.
Why can't people just be happy for other people and compliment each other for the things that they like?
How's it like living on Mars, lady? Like, I loved Mulan growing up. It's one of my
We
favorite
play lots of
Disney.
Siege there, okay?
But I even wore like the whole formal Chinese wear because I loved Mulan when I was like 5. Someone finds that photo. Minnie dresses up like Asian. She makes jokes of them. She is racist.
I've on my trip to Korea, one of the things you get to do there is they tell you, listen, you're gonna wear Korean stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember
For
that
the
photo.
day.
My
Yes.
sister has one.
Traditional Korean stuff. And I'm like, ugh, awesome. Walk into the shop, the lady looks at me, oh, king, and she gives me royal garb. And I'm like,
Oh, cool.
yes, I'm the king. I'm the king, baby. And there's photos of me on Facebook wearing that. Now, what if someone decides, hey, no, okay. What if someone who's not supposed to be offended by it gets offended by it?
Yeah.
You know? What if some, okay, let's like, what if some British person goes and like, he's cultural appropriation. It's bad. No. I'm like, but you're not Asian. Number one. Number two, it's none of your problem, none of your issue. It's a holiday thing. It's something I did for fun, you know.
But I don't understand why people would always go to the negative and make why can't they say, oh, look at this guy, look how he's appreciating that other culture, how he is celebrating that other culture.
Diversity, but no, they won't see it. They see, like I said, you could do something, the goodest intention, but someone out there hiding behind a screen will twist it and make it bad.
Do you know how much I'm?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know how much I'm stressing out about finishing my sleeve? Because my sleeve is going to be Korean appreciation. All the places I visited, the Korean flag will be included in the sleeve. The Korean tiger will finish up on my shoulder here. That's the tattoo I'm working on. The biggest thing holding me back is someone's going to lay an egg. Someone's going to have an opinion about it.
Yeah.
And it's going to cause a lot of shit for me.
But that's your body, that's your tattoo, that's your story.
You have connection to South Korea. You lived there for many years, but
yeah.
It's
the
tough.
web is dark and full of terrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Oof. But yeah, so guys, I know we talked about a very, very heavy topic. It is never easy. So we're gonna do one last round of who everyone is and where to find them, starting with our guest.
Oh wow, you're putting me on the spot. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. My name is ZaffaGeek. You can find me over at twitch.tv/ZaffaGeek, ZaffaGeek on Twitter and on YouTube. Underscores pending. Figure it out. Put an underscore in. If you don't find me, take the underscore out. Currently I'm playing a lot of Legends of Aria. I am looking forward to the Alpha 18 release of 7 Days to Die.
Soon, just a few more weeks.
I've got early access. I've got early access. I've got the streamer early access weekend thing. So, and I also do, when we all can get together, I also am the storyteller for Vampire the Masquerade: City of Thorn. You can check it out on my YouTube. Again, I think it's without the underscore.
Yeah, there's no underscore.
And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun playing Legends of Aria, creating a guild, doing Vampire the Masquerade storyline. I need to rewrite the storyline again, by the way.
Why?
And no, because I've had a plan, and now a couple of weeks have passed. Now I've got a better plan.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
As long as it's not our fault.
No, it's not your fault. It's like time, it sets in. I'm like, maybe I should change this. But yeah, you can find me all there, and I hope to see you there. If not, you should have a good one. I'll stay in this position. Oh, you should have a really good one.
There we go. Luna?
So I'm Luna Sanguine. The underscore is also very important in my name. You can find me on my channel. I can't speak today. I've had too much wine. Half a bottle is gone. So on Twitch, it's Luna_Sanguine. It is the same on Twitter as well as Instagram. And I will be playing, I think, a lot more ESO. Yay!
Addicted.
I'm totally not addicted. Totally not addicted.
Gaming disorder.
We spoke about that once.
We did. It got really interesting. And then
addiction
below me, Lady.
Am I below you?
You are below me.
I am. Hi, I'm Lady Battery. I stream with my husband. We go under the new name of Otterden Gaming because we're not obsessed with otters.
Not at all.
We play lots of Siege and Luna, I'm playing Laserfear 2 now.
Oh, it's exciting!
And single player, spooky, scary games, and ESO from time to time as well.
Because you guys aren't addicted like Luna.
Totally not addicted.
Well, fair enough, I started playing ESO about 2 years ago and I'm picking it up again. So.
Oh, nice. And I am Minnie May. You can catch me here live whenever. And you can find me on YouTube at Minnie Mayzar, which is where you'll also find VODs for the wind down as long as game wrap ups covering alpha games and all those cool things. You'll find me on Twitter at Minnie Mayzar, where I'm the misogynist posting about certain things like the falsifying of cancel culture. And you can find me on Instagram at MinnieMay94. So before we end off, guys, I just want to say I know today was a very, very like the debating topic was fine. It was fun. Honestly, it was just a blast. But I know the last topic was a little deep and it was heavy-hearted. So I just want to say that sexual assault and claims is very serious. And if you ever find yourself in a situation where you were sexually assaulted or abused, you will have support. I know it is not easy going forward, but you need to. It is the only way we can change the way it is perceived. So
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people out there that have gone through the same boat. You will be supported and loved. So if you do go forward, go through the right channels, report it to the police, and especially the sooner the better, because there's more they can pick up. For instance, if you were raped, the longer you take, the less evidence they can collect. If you were abused or insulted, take what you can as soon as you can to the police and start that case and investigation. The longer you leave it, it does lessen the chance of something happening. Just to go back, we never said Zoe was lying about what she said. We're just saying there's always two sides of the story, and at the end of the day, a life was lost. A brother, a son, a family member, a life was taken off this planet, and it still deserves to be mourned. But I think that's everything and anything we could talk about this week. And next week, we should have a guest. We're still trying to fish one in. But yeah, we'll be back next week with the wind down. If you guys want to join our Discord, here is the Discord one more time where you guys can talk to us and get to know us, see more details about the guests we had this week, as well to see if you want to add some topics. And also, no one won the cup. If you guys can guess the secret guess of the week, I'll put your name on my cup, and no one guessed it. Everyone said Joe Black. Oh,
I
well.
was gonna say Santa, but
I'm going to put it there.
I just want to add something quickly. Thank
course.
you. Thanks to all of you for having me here. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun talking about all the things. It's not a lot that I can geek out about things and air my opinions about things. I do appreciate it. And returning guest, hashtag returning guest.
It's always a possibility. We have a list of who we like after show. We like vote. We're like, how do you feel? Joking, we don't have that, do we? No, but
No,
Zaffa,
we
thank you
don't.
so much for taking time out. I know you guys you have a serious busy schedule with like all your events, your streaming, and planning for me and Luna's destruction. But thank you so much for taking time. If you guys one more time, you can catch our guest on Twitch over there, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.